Hi, I'm JP.
And I'm Adam.
I've never seen Lost.
I have.
I'm told that it's good.
I liked it.
I'm told that it made sense.
Sort of.
But we're watching it out of order.
So it definitely won't make sense.
But it might still be good. Since we won't expect it to make sense, we'll still be able to appreciate each episode on its own merits as a 1-hour story.
Sometimes 2 or 3.
As opposed to just a fraction of an ongoing, sprawling, and increasingly complex tangle of relationships, personal stories, mysteries, mythologies, experiments, social dynamics, unnatural disasters, unanswered questions, and hot tropical hookups.
Are you okay?
I'm not sure.
Because you lost me a little bit there at the end.
Well, good, because I've been lost since the beginning.
We're Lost on Lost. Welcome, everybody, to Lost on Lost. I'm Adam Busher, and I've finally discovered the identity of our nemesis, the smack-addicted pit viper wearing a captain's hat. Wait, JP Russell? My faithful co-host and dear friend? You were the smack-addicted pit viper wearing a captain's hat this whole time? You fiend!
It was me.
Holy shit.
Man.
We're here.
We're here
after such a long wait.
It's all led up to this, baby.
We're just going to get right into it. I don't have any banter because I'm just excited to get into this. Today we are talking about Exposé, the 14th episode of Season 3 and the 63rd episode of Lost overall. Our centric characters are everyone's favorite modern-day Bonnie and Clyde, Nikki Fernandez, and Paolo, no last name given. Exposé takes place on the 81st day after the crash of Oceanic Flight 815. JP?
Yeah.
Give me a recap, baby.
History is full of famous duos. Batman and Robin, Shaggy and Scooby-Doo, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, Sally Jesse and Raphael. That might be 3 people. Lost has its share of famous duos as well. Sun and Jin, Rose and Bernard, Charlie and Heroin, Henry Gale and Hot Air Balloons. But none of those duos have created more controversy or sparked more conversation than Nikki and Paolo. That's right, folks. We finally reached Exposé, the episode that encapsulates the beginning and the end of Nikki and Paolo's saga. We're going to cover it all, and by no means are we going to compromise our ideals or settle on our opinions. And with that said, this episode of Lost on Lost is brought to you by Marlboro Cigarettes. Marlboro Cigarettes. For when you've just watched the most insane 45 minutes of television and you need to take the edge off, look for that cool, refreshing taste of Marlboro Cigarettes. Now let's get into it.
Holy. She's back. She's bad. She requested to be on this episode. Oh man.
I said I would wait however long it took just so I could do Exposé.
That's true love. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to Lost on Lost, Chrissy Ruiz.
Hello.
And the date of Chrissy's first appearance was
a long time ago.
Yeah, I think it was one of the first 5 episodes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you were in the first dozen, that's for sure.
Good guesses from both of you. It was episode 20.
There are already too many episodes of this podcast.
No doubt.
You're telling me.
So episode 20, which aired back in November of 2021, which means we recorded it probably that summer. Welcome back, Chrissy.
Thank you. Yeah, a lot has changed since then for all of us.
For all of us. For everyone. Here it is, 2023.
Yeah.
Still talking about Lost. That's not changed. We're going to be talking about Lost for a while yet.
All day, every day. They can't stop us until the ATF comes and kicks in our doors and shoots our dogs. Chrissy, what? I know a lot has happened between now and the last time you were on the podcast. Anything that you've been watching? Anything that's jumping out? Anything that you've seen that's really sort of spirited you away?
Okay, so I feel like this isn't super recent anymore. We're already a couple of months past this, but I watched Andor, and I am not a Star Wars person. I don't dislike it, but I just don't love it like people who watch Star Wars do. Yeah. And it was so good. I was crying every episode.
Wow.
and it was the episode with Gollum in it. But it was so good. It didn't feel like Star Wars. I like how it was set in the universe, but it was something totally different from all the other Star Wars I've ever seen. So good. If you haven't watched it yet, you're late and you should watch it.
No doubt.
I haven't watched it yet, but Kai and I just said we're going to start it this week. So I have one more day to start it. So hopefully tomorrow.
I think something about it is I've always loved con movies.
Sure.
So
yeah.
This show kind of feels like a series of cons, which I really like.
Yeah. Speaking of cons and people that do sort of cons, do we want to talk about some Lost?
You're right. I didn't even realize that it was a con episode when I said that, but maybe I just like what I like.
We should absolutely talk about this because I watched this yesterday on my lunch break at work, and I have thought about almost nothing since.
How did you finish out the rest of your shift?
I was dumbstruck after the episode ended. I literally sat and stared at my computer for almost 20 minutes, just like...
It really does wipe your brain.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like floss. It felt like my brain had been flossed in such a good way. But yes, we should talk about it.
Yes.
Exposé originally aired on March 28th, 2007. It was written by Adam Horowitz and Edward Kitsis and directed by Stephen Williams. Kitsis and Horowitz once interviewed former Lost on Lost guest Kevin Heyer for a job and never called him back, which was lame. And Stephen Williams' brother Peter Williams played Apophis, the primary villain of the first 4 seasons of Stargate SG-1.
Apophis, you motherfucker.
How could you?
That's his brother?
According to the Lostpedia and Wikipedia.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I was trying to find something interesting to say about Stephen Williams because we've already said everything interesting about Stephen Williams, and so the next interesting thing was that his brother was
That's super. I fucking love Stargate. Apophis.
Apopsis.
A popsis?
A popsicle on Stargate SG-1.
Oh my god.
This episode didn't have a recap.
No, we're just right into it.
I was all set to skip the recap and just bam, somebody's running through the jungle.
Not to derail this immediately. Do either of you remember the Lost World Jurassic Park with Jeff Goldblum?
Yeah.
What kind of a question is that?
Just making sure.
I've watched it recently.
Okay, so the cold open of that, when the little girl gets attacked by the little tiny dinosaurs and the mom comes running on the beach and she runs like a chicken, that's how Nikki runs. It was exact same way.
The same footage. They just reused that footage.
It's very similar.
And that scene in The Lost World is actually from the first book, the Jurassic Park novel. That scene is from...
I did know that. Yeah.
True heads will all know that, which you guys obviously do, because you guys are heads. So, yeah, Nikki, she do be running like a chicken.
And the camera's doing everything it can to mask that. Cardio is not her strong suit. I'm sure she's got good core strength. She's out there doing Pilates and yoga, but
Make
running
her look
is
fast.
Yeah.
It's like, whenever you see Tom Cruise running, he has those arms just working, and then they zoom out, and he's just such a little dude trying to go as fast
Look
as
at
he
him
can.
hustle.
That's what it reminds me of.
She arrives at a destination in the jungle and buries a bag.
In the softest topsoil I have ever seen. No rocks. Her nails are still intact. You ever tried digging into hard ass ground with your bare hands?
That was pre-dug.
Yeah.
And we are immediately into a flashback.
St. Paul.
Beautiful St. Paul, Minnesota. Nikki is at a non-exotic dance club because this is broadcast television.
I really loved it because it was so empty. And then once you got to actually take a look at the people in there, it was all Asian dudes.
It was.
It's like, this is the spot. This is the spot that only Koreans know about.
Yeah. As soon as she took off the rain jacket, I was like, and that's why she was cast in the role. Like, okay, yep. Got it. You have a supermodel body. Great. Cool. Neat.
Rex and Effects. Rump Shaker. Fuck, I love that song. I don't even care.
Good.
Not even ironically. If that comes on, I'm gonna dance. And I was struggling to not dance in my office while I was watching it. Yeah. Zoom with your boom boom. Shake your boom.
Can I get a little more of that?
Yeah, what's the next verse?
God, I don't know the words.
So anyways, Steven Seagal from Above the Law walks through with a briefcase.
Yeah, there's a shady dude heading to the back room, and she's eyeballing him from the stage. And then so I guess her dance is just over, so she just like, Rex and Effects is about 3.5 minutes long, and it just started. So like, I think she abandoned the song.
Modern day woman, gig economy. She's got to have 2 jobs, right? This is where they intersect, both exotic dancer and spy.
Spy?
So it's just, it happens.
Billy D. Williams.
Yeah, the next 30 seconds fried my brain like a fucking hot pocket. Like,
Yeah, wait, okay, this is another... I also didn't mean to already talk about Star Wars. But
Yeah, Lando's
lots of tie-ins.
I, having seen the show before, vaguely remembered some of the stuff about this. And so as I was sitting there watching her do her dance, I remembered it just like moments before he was on camera. I was like, oh shit, Billy D. Williams is in this episode. And then he turned around and I was like, yes! Yes!
well, because like I wrote down, like, she walks in, the guy's already got a briefcase full of money open. And she says, fucking razzle dazzle and Billy D. the money for the orphanage. And then Billy D. Williams turned around. And then I had to pause and walk away from my television. I had to make sure I was watching Lost still. I could not fucking handle it.
It was a lot at once. And I think something that's really fun about it is, like, the music production is all, like, intense and cheesy.
Yeah.
So you really wouldn't know.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Like, is this Lost?
It is so much. Billy D. Williams as Mr. Lashad, a.k.a. the Cobra, stealing the money for the orphanage.
How could you?
What are you doing? The Cobra? How could you?
It gave me such Black Dynamite vibes, and I loved it. Like,
yeah. Black Dynamite, I sell drugs to the community. Like,
Yeah, it's really bizarre. And I think, I don't know, do you think that he was just a really big fan of the show? Do you think he asked to be on it? Because it was a small part.
I don't think he's that expensive to book.
yeah, probably not. Especially not
at
back
this
in
point.
2007. Yeah.
Nope. I think they just said, who can we get? Billy D. He gets it. He's in for a good joke. He's in for a bit. Billy D. Williams fucking flat out shoots her. He just blags her just full of holes. Blam, 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 blam.
And then Corvette?
Corvette. Yeah, Corvette was working for the Cobra.
Corvette was working for the Cobra. And then these other 2 strippers come in.
But you learn later, so to your point, you're saying she's a stripper and also a spy, but like that's the plot of Exposé. Like they confirm it later that it's 2 strippers that are, detectives or something.
Yes. Oh.
When those 2 strippers came in, though, I was just like, "Ha! You forgot about my loyal army of prostitutes."
No.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Cut.
Yeah, the scene cuts, and we now realize that it's a show that was being filmed.
Yeah, it is a television show called Exposé, and Nikki is an actress. She's playing Corvette, the spy stripper or whatever, and she has a very that's a series wrap on Nikki. Everybody claps. Guest star. They disappear into the sunset forever. Whatever. So you probably never see him again. It's fine. So she's. From the bit we saw, I think she's a perfectly serviceable television actress.
That's fine. Yeah, for
like a
for like this
a TNT type show.
Yeah, this this Nikita ripoff. Is that what that show is called?
La Femme Nikita?
La Femme Nikita, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but then like we get a little piece of information here that makes us think maybe she didn't get the show on merit, which I mean it's Hollywood, so that happens. But
we learn she's sleeping with the director, and he's so old.
Yeah, the part when she goes, because I couldn't remember this part of the episode, so when I was watching it and she goes, "I love you," I was like, is it her dad? Uncle? And then they kiss, and I was like, no.
Oh, I really hope it's not her dad or her uncle.
But I think one of the best parts of this episode is that because he's offering to her, like, we can find some way to bring you back. And she goes, we all know what happens to guest stars. And I love that.
Yeah. Oh, there's so much in this fucking episode that is...
Sometimes the foreshadowing is five-shadowing. The studio is directly across the harbor from the Sydney Opera House. No, it's not. That aggravated the shit out of me, so I went on Google Maps. That's a residential neighborhood that's directly across from the harbor. There's the fuck ever.
All right, so now we are going to begin.
Now that we got that out of the way,
the most cross-cutting I think we've seen in an episode. We have so many scenes. I feel like we got to get through these pretty quick if we're gonna not keep everyone here for 5 hours. But yeah, because they're very short, but there's so much flashing back in this episode.
This episode is reminiscent of the other 48 days.
Yes, that's exactly what I felt too.
Where we've got two characters. We don't know what happened to them up to this point in the present. So now we got to go back and fill in some gaps.
Yeah.
So yeah, we cut to the beach.
Hurley and Sawyer are playing ping pong. Hurley's whooping Sawyer's ass again.
Hurley's super good at ping pong, and Sawyer's probably okay.
Yeah, but he's not Hurley.
Yeah.
Nikki falls out of the jungle and fucking dies. Now that's how you start an episode.
Yeah. Sawyer does a smart thing here. Real quick, after she collapses, he sticks his head out into the brush to see if she was being chased or something like that. So, like,
checks
Sawyer
the tree line.
is a little bit in, like, sort of his almost white hat sheriff moments. Like, he's had plenty of black hat moments in the show, but this is a phase in Lost in which he's sort of wearing the white hat.
Yeah.
But then he immediately goes, who the hell is Nikki? Which I love.
Which is not the first time he's like that bit has been done, because he says, who the hell is Hugo? For the guy who just makes nicknames for everybody, the fact that he can't honestly remember their real names, I fucking love that.
And I think that's the end of the cold open, right? Lost card, and then we cut back right back into flashback
84 days ago.
Nikki and Howie, the director of the show, they're just having breakfast at this dude's house. It's this palatial estate, like this just gorgeous house overlooking whatever. And Paolo comes out in a chef's uniform. He's Howard's chef. Does a little bit of brag here. It's like, oh, this guy, he came in begging me for a job, so I had to hire him. And but they say he's the Wolfgang Puck of Brazil, and blah 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 blah. It's like gassing him up.
See, I really love that, because it's like he said something about like, have one of the rolls, they're homemade. And do you think that Paolo learned how to actually be a really good cook to get this job, or do you think he goes out really early every morning to get some like fresh rolls?
He just gets like a whole breakfast spread from like a nice restaurant.
It's like Mrs. Doubtfire.
I want it so badly that he actually became that level of amazing chef, and he's still pulling this con and doesn't realize that he could just be a chef, successful
like
restaurant.
Like he could be the executive chef at like a nice New York restaurant or Paris or Sao Paulo or whatever, and just be making bank doing that.
But I mean, it's like Nikki, like she had to be good enough of an actress to get a job on this semi-popular show.
Yeah.
So it was like, what are they doing?
Right. Like these are like, I didn't even think of that until just now, but that's an excellent point from both of you. Why are they doing this? Both are perfectly serviceable at their chosen careers. They could make a living doing it, like, and not even a shitty living, like a good living.
And he was willing to write her into more of the show, and she chose to be like, okay, do the show, get a movie deal. Now you've got more than $8 million. Also, I'm sorry to poke holes in our lovely headcanon, because I fucking love this right now. Paulo does say that the secret is the shaved truffles. The plane crashed on September 22nd. Truffle season in Australia is July to August. White truffles only last for 1 week in the refrigerator, and black truffles only last for 2 weeks in the refrigerator. So either he doesn't know anything about truffles, or the writers didn't do their research.
You know, when I came to guest on the show, I didn't know that we were going to get an education about when truffles were in season.
Yeah, for the first time ever, JP's done research.
I will research anything as long as it's not
actually
Lost.
about Lost.
Yes.
Yeah, try the homemade bread. She grabs her ball. Underneath it is a fancy bracelet.
But behind the bread, that's pretty tacky. What if she grabbed the wrong piece of bread?
Right? She's like,
Eat more bread.
I'm gluten intolerant. I don't want bread. And she grabs a mango. Like,
but the thing is too, like the bracelet would get so greasy.
yeah,
it would get so buttery.
Crumbs and yeah.
Also, not to like objectify, but we saw her body. She hasn't seen a carb since 1998.
She's like admiring the jewelry, and then all of a sudden he starts to
fucking die.
Yeah, it seems like he's having a bit of a gripper, and he keels over. Apparently, Paolo poisoned him.
Yeah. And they just fucking get to work. They're like, the facade is dropped immediately. She grabs the shit off his neck, is like, let's fucking do this. Let's get to work.
Yep. They snatch a key off of Howie's neck, and they go find this safe, and they're talking about, is anybody gonna know? It's like, nah, this is all off book. Nobody knows anything about anything. They open up the safe, and inside they find a Russian nesting doll, which they snatch.
Yep.
Followed by Razzle freaking Dazzle.
Razzle freaking Dazzle, baby. Garage.
Holy hell.
I just like how they decided to pull out the Razzle Dazzle thing in the first 5 minutes twice. And I was really hoping that maybe they're going to like hammer on it during the episode. Like maybe she's picked it up as her new thing. But
Hollywood is allowed to have one famous Razzle Dazzle, and it's Bill Murray in stripes. We're done. That's it.
Come back to the beach. Sawyer, Charlie, Hurley, Jin, and Sun are analyzing Nikki's corpse.
And our primaries are all off on an A-team adventure.
That's right. This is a period in lost history where I believe Jack is still in captivity, and JL, Kate, Saeed are off trying to rescue him. So yeah.
Something I really like, I think it was Hurley. He goes, she's got gunk under the fingernails. And at this point, they've been on the island for 2.5 seasons now.
Yep.
And it's like, my fingernails get fucking dirty after a few days.
Yeah. Right. And with no soap, like, yeah, they're just like, they're going to be stained and black and standy, and yeah.
Everybody's got shit under their fingernails.
But, I mean, this is the crack Scooby squad here. They're not going to leave any stone unturned.
Listen, I love members of the A-team that are out there doing their thing. I fucking adore this team, though. Yeah. They're so good.
Just a bunch of sweeties, really.
It really is. That's it. This is the sweetie bunch. Hell yeah.
The sweeties and Sawyer.
Yeah, it's the sweeties and Sawyer.
Yes.
Nikki said something before she collapsed, and it wasn't entirely clear. So they're trying to sort of parse out what that could have been.
Plywood.
Parasail.
Power lines.
Paolo lies, thinks Hurley. Paolo lies.
Got it.
Sawyer thinks, well, that's probably a good place to start, and the investigation starts in earnest.
Yes.
Flashback.
Yep, here we go.
Back to the airport, Sydney Airport. Nikki and Paolo are reading the story about how Howard had a heart attack and died in his house, and nobody was there, and nobody thought it was foul play, and there were no clues, despite the fact that Nikki and Paolo didn't wear gloves, or I'm sure people knew that the two of them were seeing each other. I don't know.
Whatever. Somehow they got away with it. We're starting to retcon everything we know about everything, and we're just putting Nikki and Paolo. They were there the whole time. We just didn't see them.
They were there the entire time.
Something I really liked about this scene was they do a callback to her telling him not to smoke in the closet when they find the diamonds. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I'm going to quit now. Here's my nicotine gum. Yeah. And they're trying really hard to like give these new characters some story that you remember from earlier in the episode.
And I'm going to bring that up later because like... Holy hell. The only things that they talk about each other are things that we see in this, like, first 15 minutes of the show.
Diamonds, gum, Exposé.
You slept with that old guy. Well, you smoke cigarettes. We're characters.
It's like they were half-dimensional characters, and they started trying to aim for 3-dimensional, and they only got to about 1.5-dimensional.
Yeah, they're like, how do we make these sexy people flawed? Maybe he smokes?
Oh my god.
Speaking of sexy, man, two very hot voices are arguing off frame. Boone and Shannon
here
arguing about some nonsense, man, bickering like a couple of just like an old married couple.
Yep.
Or siblings, brother and sister or something. It's unclear. They want to get a chair. Shannon's being a colossal crab.
Yeah. Real pain in the ass.
I had like a visceral reaction to hearing Shannon. She's just like, I know they tried to make her sympathetic and stuff, but she's such a bitch.
You've only, that's the thing. You've only seen her be a bitch. Here on Lost and Lost, she somewhere found a little bit of redemption.
It took
but
the
a lot of it
island for
happened
her
the day
to...
that they killed her. So you can't win them all.
Shannon got done dirty.
They wander off because Shannon's being real bossy and Boone's a big dish rag, and so they wander off. And Nikki's like, let's not end up like them. Yeah, and then they're like, and it's all sweet and all that stuff. What happened after the plane took off?
Then we cut immediately to the plane crash.
Oh, right. It crashed, and Nikki and Paolo were there the entire time. That's right. We see a bunch of clips from the pilot. The day of the plane crash. Day one.
Listen, I don't care how many times we see this plane crash. The sound of the engine like revving up and down and Shannon screaming still like gets under my fucking skin. It is such a good fucking scene.
The chaos after the plane crash, it was so well done in the pilot, and it explains why the pilot cost so much money, because they did that part 100% correctly.
Yeah.
It also explains why, mid-season when they're kind of lagging with viewers, they're like, why don't we bring this really good scene back?
Yeah.
This
You
is
remember
a
how
great
everybody
scene.
got hooked on that crash? Let's revisit that. Nikki is looking for Paolo after the crash and the chaos. All these things are happening. The one engine is still spooling and spinning up. Locke is trying to help people. Boone's looking for a pen.
Arts is there.
And Nikki is so disgusted by him.
Oh, yeah.
When she's like, Paolo, and then grabs his shoe and it's Art's. And then he's like trying to ask her for help, and she looks so grossed out.
Yeah.
Why are you talking to me?
Nikki spots Paolo.
Yeah, he's obviously fine and definitely not in shock.
No, he's not.
He's so bloody.
Yeah.
And she's like 100% fine.
Yeah.
His eyes look bloodshot. Like, he's all fucked up.
Yeah.
I was wondering what happened because it's like, when you see him later, he looks fine, but like there's so much blood on his face.
Yeah.
Paolo looked like he got hit in the head, like, bad.
Yeah. Like, he's just been huffing exhaust fumes for a while, and he's got a few brain cells that are kind of fried.
Yeah.
And he's looking out into the ocean, and Nikki comes up to him and is like, hey, you good? You good? And he's like, once he snaps out of it, he's like, yeah, I think so. And then she's immediately into, where is the bag?
Where's the bag? Oh, it's right there, honey. Like, I made sure to grab it before we crashed. Man.
It's in the overhead compartment, which may or may not be shoved up my ass right now. I don't know.
There was a series of overhead compartments on sort of a pudgy, sort of middle school teacher looking dude. Have you seen him recently? Oh, gross.
Cut to the jungle.
Yep.
Paulo's dead.
Man, body count on this episode.
Bottom line up front, we're just scratching names off the list.
Yep.
And all of them die with their eyes open, wide open.
Creepy. Yeah, Jin, Hurley, and Sawyer are the ones who locate Paolo's body.
I was just so glad to look upon Jin's just wonderful face.
Perfect visage. Yeah, same.
Wonderful man.
They do a thing I love here. It's the Chewbacca where like Jin says something in Korean and we have no idea what he says, and Hurley just goes, yeah, man, I know.
Yeah.
I love their relationship so much.
Good.
Hurley's just so supportive and just like, yeah, you're probably right, man.
Yeah, man.
I love you.
No doubt. They do some crime scene jokes here.
Yeah.
They locate Paolo's shoe, and Hurley's like, don't do that. You're disturbing the crime scene. Crime scene? Like, what do you do? You have a microscope in your tent? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he says something about you got like a crime scene investigators around here or something. You got a Dharma lab or
Forensic
something.
hatch.
Yeah. Yeah. They find a shoe in a tree.
Yep, I love the jokes here that they do, because like this is how I feel like at this point, like they're starting to react here to these bonkers things happening in the way that I would imagine. Like, it's like, okay, some more weird shit. I can no longer I can no longer react with like stunned silence. Like, this is too weird.
Right.
Yeah, I really like the self-awareness in it. It's like, I like how much it poked fun at itself in this episode.
Yeah, exactly. Jin thinks maybe the smoke monster killed Paolo.
Ooh, and Hurley definitely like latches on to that idea pretty hard, pretty quick. He's like, yeah, man, like what else could it be?
Yeah.
Cut to 75 days ago.
Yep, day 6 after the crash. Nikki and Paolo looking for the bag, and sure, it's early still. Trying to, there's still an attachment to your own things. Like, it's like, oh, if we can find our own, shit, that'd be cool to have.
Right. They're talking about things that we know have happened on the island. Something moving the trees. Maybe it was a dinosaur, whatever. It'll be fine. The Coast Guard's going to be here soon. And then... local sleep paralysis demon Ethan walks out of the fucking jungle with a Wisconsin t-shirt on, repping the fucking Badger State, baby.
That's right, go Badgers, baby.
Not only does he have the Wisconsin sweater, but he also has a wig that makes him look just like Nathan Fielder.
Yes.
And like his delivery is also very Nathan Fielder.
It's the most insane. Do y'all need any clothes? If you're looking for clothes, there might be some in the jungle. If you need a shirt, I can make you help find a shirt that's your size.
It's like the sound of his voice is sweaty. Like it's so like. Ours comes bailing through. Boone took the water. Of course he did. Of course it's Boone. Who else would it be?
There is so much like goofy fanfare in this one. I love it.
Yeah.
I know it's cheap, but I 100% buy it.
And then we get the live together, die alone speech again, but like the Roundy's brand version of it. Like not the same takes. You know what I mean? Like,
yep. Jack made this big speech on day 6. If you can't help, find a way to contribute. If we can't live together, we're going to die alone. And Nikki and Paolo were there for that, too. Hey.
Like near the front.
Yeah.
Also.
It's weird that we didn't see him.
Center
the first
circle.
time we heard him do the speech.
Listen, I pay a lot of attention to the background extras. Actually, probably more than I should. I haven't seen them in the background of many of these pivotal scenes.
Guess you're not paying attention nearly as well as you thought you were.
I don't know.
Yeah, you think I would forget someone so hot?
Yeah.
They're both very good-looking humans.
They are very attractive people. Cut to the jungle. They're doing some more speculation about these two people. Here on Lost and Lost, we don't know much about Nikki and Paolo.
No.
Apparently on the island, they don't know much about them either.
No.
Yeah, they're just like workshopping some ideas about like who they might have been, why they might have been there,
Hurley's still really tied up on the idea that it was the monster. He brings up something about Locke was there when Echo died, and Echo said, "You're next," and he thinks that Nikki and Paolo were there. And Sawyer's just like, that's too much conjecture. We need to go to their tent and look around their stuff and see if we can find any like hard evidence.
Yep, continuing with the investigation. There is truth to be had. All we got to do is find it.
Right.
They're also preparing to, this happens at the graveyard, right? They're preparing to...
the ever-growing mass grave. Get real estate while you can, folks.
It wouldn't surprise me if Sawyer was selling plots
absolutely.
Like just like, in the event, we all, you prepare for the worst, hope for the best, I'm selling oceanside graveyard plots.
Something next to your loved one.
Yeah. Right. If you really miss Ethan, that plot's still open. Back to a flashback.
57 days ago.
Yep, day 24 after the crash. Arcee's got quite the setup.
Yeah,
he's really made himself a home here in the first few weeks after the crash.
But the home is mostly spiders,
which is pretty horrifying.
Everyone else trying to get shelter. He's like, I need some jars for these spiders.
Hey, does anybody have any empty peanut butter jars laying around? I could really use some. I found this terrifying spider, and I feel like I should have it in a jar near-ish to where I sleep.
He delivers some definitely not important for later exposition about these spiders and how one bit of pheromone will attract more spiders.
Oh, be careful with that jar. That's Chekhov's spider.
Yeah, don't show us a poisonous spider in Act 1 unless you're going to use the poisonous spider in Act 3. That's screenwriting 101.
He's like, yeah, I'll help you since you've very clearly come over here in a bra to make me help you. I will do so. I'm not gonna let your efforts go unrewarded.
Right.
It's very, very sort of philanthropic, or very selfless of him. Like, she put in all this effort. The least he can do.
It's just really goofy because, she's like, hey, I was wondering if you knew about trajectories and stuff in this really flirty way.
Yeah.
And I like her thinking that she has to, like, bribe him or something to get him to talk to her about trajectories. Like, he's collecting spiders. He probably would have been thrilled.
Right. Anybody comes over there and be like, you got an afternoon to talk about trajectories? Ars is like, I got nothing but time.
Yeah. Cut to the jungle.
Yeah, Paolo and Nikki are looking for the bag. They're bickering a little bit, like, you know, hey, why are you flirting with Ars? And she's like, don't fucking tell me what to do. You're not my fucking supervisor.
Right. Well, you fucked the producer. It's like, yeah, that was part of the.
That was part of the con. It wasn't like, okay, we're gonna rip this guy off. Do you think it would help if I fucked him? No, don't do that. I think it would really help if I fucked him.
What's a con if I'm not trying to seduce somebody?
Right. Yeah. They come across Goldie's plane, baby. It's not Yemi's, it's Goldie's.
It's Goldie's plane. We're all on it's Goldie's plane. We're all just riding on it.
Right. It's Goldie's island. Yeah. He was technically there and crashed the plane before it was cool.
Yeah, exactly. Rest in power, King.
Yeah.
They spot the Beechcraft up in the thing, and some more like, go up there. No, if I go up there, it'll fall down. What are you, nuts?
I love it, yeah. Because that's exactly the kind of plane crash survivor I would be. I'd be so unwilling to do anything risky. I'm like, are you kidding? Well, we're already probably going to die. You think I want to do it sooner?
Right, yeah. And that's, okay, not to fast forward here, but they also find the fucking pearl,
well, it's the same thing. As they're ignoring the Beechcraft, they walk across something that sounds like a hole in the ground. They're like, what was that? Man, nothing, probably.
Yeah. It's probably Millhouse. But like they open it up and Paul's like, let's go down there, and Nikki gets real indignant and she's like, oh, you don't want to go in the plane, but you want to go down the hole in the ground. It's like, those are not the same thing.
Not the same at all. That's a ladder. That's a cliff.
Right. Exactly. One is a man-made structure. One is an accident.
Yeah. So they discover the pearl days probably before anybody else notices it, and they're just, fuck it. Let's not worry about it.
Yeah, the bag's not down in the hatch, so we
gotta find the bag. That's the thing. Come back to the jungle. Sawyer and Hurley are searching Nikki and Paolo's tent. They find some bugs. They talk a little bit about how Arst and Nikki and Paolo were friends a little bit.
Yep. They find the Exposé script, and Hurley explains the whole show within a show.
Yep.
Sawyer also finds a radio.
Ooh.
The same kind that the others use.
Weird. Why would he have that?
I don't know. They must be working with the others.
Dun, 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 dun.
Use my fucking jump to conclusions, Matt. Cut to 48 days ago.
Yep, day 33. Shannon and Arst find out about the guns from Kate. Is this the pigs are walking?
The what?
Where Arst flips out and says the pigs are walking?
Oh, yeah.
I personally loved that because that is exactly what a high school teacher would do. Reference Animal Farm. The pigs are walking. The pigs are walking here.
I did not pick up on that.
Ours did several things in this episode that made me think of George Costanza.
Oh, yeah.
The pigs are walking, people. They're walking. They're walking, Jerry.
Pretty good. Yeah, pretty good impression.
I fucking love Arts.
But yeah, so like they're like, oh, you found this really important thing. Where did you find it? Maybe our important thing is in that same place. Because I guess at this point it makes sense that they've searched basically all the obvious places. Now let's start checking the less obvious places.
Right.
So they head to the pool where the Halliburton case was found. The waterfall. They bicker some more here. Like there's obviously some friction happening regarding this, the search for the bag. Paolo's starting to become paranoid that like once they find the bag, Nikki's not going to need him anymore, which makes sense. I don't think he's out of line for thinking that.
Right. She's very focused on the money and not on them.
Right.
I don't care about the blood on your face. Where's the bag?
Right. Well, and again, she brings up something about, you don't want to do it. Well, something about, remember when you reminded me about something I didn't want to do, like sleeping with Howie or whatever. And it's like, these are the only things we know about these characters. Yep. That's it. Everything we're ever going to know about them is in this episode.
Yeah. But none of this matters. Rodrigo Santoro, get your shirt off and go swim, bud. We got to see it.
What a tan man.
Jeez.
So tan.
What?
We all just got caught thinking about him.
We were all transported.
Just needed a moment there to cool off. He dives in. He finds the bag. He can't quite get it. It's like wedged in a rock. And he can't get it out. And he comes up for air. And she's like, did you find anything? And he says, no. Nah. And so she just runs off all mad. But then he dives back under the water. He did find the bag.
I like how she just left him.
Yeah, petulant. God damn, like you guys are already having an argument. Go ahead and make it worse by just running off. Christ. It's fine. It's fine. We have enough relationship drama with the other characters on the show. I'm not going to harp on these two. They've only got so much time here for us to focus on them, and I want to focus on the good stuff, not their inability to communicate. We come back to the graveyard.
Yeah, present time.
Yep. More speculation about the others and their connection to Nikki and Paolo. How, why they might be working together.
This is like the third scene in a row where we're talking about kind of the same thing.
Yeah. Sun wonders out loud about her attackers. She's like, I think there's credence to this. Who attacked me? It was the others. How did they know where I would have been? Nikki and Paolo have been here literally the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
And then the camera shows us Charlie and Sawyer looking like the most guiltiest fucking people that I've ever seen. Like, they might as well be kicking the dirt. Like,
it's that monkey side-eye meme, just like, ooh.
I love that they had to put some kind of, like, a plot important piece in this episode so that people wouldn't just, like, skip over it.
Right, because
don't forget, beyond all of this stuff that we're telling you about Nikki and Paolo, this is part of a larger story. Yeah.
Tell your friends to watch it. Don't tell them to skip it. There's something important there.
Tune in next week.
Still watch.
Yeah. This bothers Sawyer, so he's like, I'm going to go on patrol some more.
Yeah. And he whips out a gun, and Hurley's like, where'd you get that gun from? He's like, I found it in their tent. That's the same gun from the pilot. Adam, you said to throw a rock, find a gun. Throw a gun, find a gun. Everybody's just got guns on this fucking island.
Somewhere in here, in this episode, they say, you used to have all the guns, and now you don't have all the guns anymore. And he's still got a gun. Despite the fact that he had at one point and now has lost all the guns, he's still got one. What? Go check the perimeter, so your services won't be needed for the next scene.
That's just Americans, we'll find guns somewhere. Yeah.
They just come to me.
Yeah.
Yep, that's right.
I don't seek them out. I just find them.
Just manifesting. Cut to a flashback.
Yeah.
Day 49 after the crash.
Yeah, 32 days ago.
Paolo pulls the nicotine gum out of the bag and just like in a fit. How is he still having nicotine fits 6 weeks after the last time he could have possibly had a cigarette?
Right. Nobody likes nicotine gum. Like, you don't just choose to start chewing that again.
No. Even if he was bumming smokes from Sawyer or something, the Nick fit stopped a month ago.
Right.
I would have bought more him like seeing like, oh yeah, I used to smoke, and then just like tossing them aside.
Sure.
But maybe, I don't know, maybe there's a reason why he's got to have the nicotine gum on him later.
It's almost like it's important.
He starts burying the bag.
In plain sight of other people.
Like, you can see tents. You can see people walking around.
And he's like, I better take fast. I hope nobody sees me burying my doll. And Daddy Swagger John Locke just walks out of the tree line as he do.
Yep, carrying a torch. Yep.
What you doing?
John Locke sees all.
God, I love it so much. And Paul's like, I'm not doing anything. And John's like, okay, well, it looks like you're burying a fucking doll, my guy.
I'm not an expert on all jungle and beach activities, but it's pretty apparent to me. Let me give you a little advice. things don't stay buried, specifically here on the beach because the beach is eroding. I mean, things don't stay buried on this island.
Right. Yeah. He's like, it's winter, high tide's coming. This is all going to wash away. So maybe find a better place for all your weirdness. Like,
Paolo takes this advice to heart and he's like, maybe there's a place where I can can bury the doll and I won't forget where it is.
that other people aren't going to be there.
And other people won't go there. That's right. A question mark amount of distance / time away from the beach. I remember the one time I found what appeared to be a root cellar. I'm going to go there in the dark by myself and put this in there.
Yes.
So.
And is totally unfazed by finding a toilet and a bunch of TVs. He's like, I don't need to tell anybody.
Right.
No. He goes down there. Yeah, it's the Pearl. It's this observing station from the Dharma Initiative left over from the halcyon days of the Dharma Initiative. It's got all these TVs, it's got functional bathroom, all that stuff. So it's not good enough to just stash it in this room somewhere. I'm gonna put it in the tank of the toilet. Sure. Why?
Neat.
While he's in the bathroom.
This scene angered me.
Living bruise. Henry, Ben Linus Gale, and love of my life, Dr. Juliet Berg.
Future ex Mrs. Busher.
Exactly. Played ably by the timeless Elizabeth Mitchell. Dressed in their others beach costume. Like
Yep. For some reason.
They come down there. They use one of the TVs. Is that Shepard? Is that the guy? That's the guy. He's the one. He's gonna do the surgery. And she's like, he's not gonna do it. Yes, he will. I'm going to get him to do it by doing the thing I do, finding out what people care about and exploiting it. And I was like, man, you're really being a dick to her.
That is not how Ben talks.
No, it's not.
Like,
how are you going to get him to do it? I will.
Right.
Or something like brevity, mysteriousness.
I have a plan.
Yeah, I've got a plan. Yeah, exactly.
Like, that line of dialogue really made me very angry.
Incredibly out of character. It was like, he might as well have been wearing a big fake curly villain mustache.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the writers had to spend all of their effort trying to come up with the character traits for Nikki and Paolo.
Then they forgot about the established traits of these other characters.
Yeah, you can only spend so much time on character building.
Right.
And it's the same thing as the graveyard scene. It's like, hey, if your friends aren't interested in the, the survivors sort of like cannibalizing themselves by, having these weird plans and like Charlie and Sawyer kidnapping son and all that, don't forget we got some other drama happening too. There's this whole other squad of people over there and they've got important shit going on too. This guy has to have surgery.
And then Juliet goes, what a cutie.
Yeah. Oh my God, he's actually...
Oh, he's cute.
Oh my
Are we about to kiss right now?
Oh my God, what would happen if we kissed in the Pearl Station?
That's going to be the name of my book.
There's no one here. No one will know.
There's absolutely nobody in the bathroom. Certainly not a guy who's been here the entire time.
Yeah. I'm not saying I want to kiss, but like if you wanted to,
But
I would.
if you kissed me, I would probably kiss you back. They bail, and they forget their walkie-talkie, and Paolo picks up the walkie-talkie.
Neat. Cut to the beach.
Hurley goes to talk to Desmond.
What the fuck?
Every time I see Desmond, my heart just like clenches. I just fucking love Desmond.
Such a good dude.
Yeah.
Hurley wants to know if Desmond can use his psychic powers to help them solve the crime, which is smart.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly how they would resolve this in some sort of soap opera, which this episode entirely is.
Right. Yeah.
But Desmond's like, that's not how it works, homie.
Yeah. I just see little flashes. And Hurley's like, your powers are lame. And I'm like, dude, that's kind of rude. That's super rude, man.
Give him a break.
Don't be digging on his powers.
Yeah.
What powers you got besides bad luck?
But then Desmond's like, okay, so like my psychic powers don't work that way, but my powers of observation work just fine. And I saw Nikki and Sawyer arguing this morning.
Ooh.
So, do with that what you will. I'm going to finish eating this mango.
Cut to the mass grave. Vincent's stealing the blanket that's covering their loathsome corpses.
Love to see the dog. Love to see the dog. Love Vincent.
Vincent's the best.
Son and Charlie continue to work in the graves, and Hurley comes over and tells him what Desmond told him.
Hurley's trying to figure out why is Sawyer doing all of this. You know what I mean? Like, if he's behind all this, like, what end? Like, what is going on? So he's going to go get Desmond, and Desmond's going to tell everybody what he saw, just so that there's no middleman here or whatever.
Right. Everybody's on the same page, yeah.
And Charlie comes clean to Son.
Yep. He was the one. We saw it in the long con. Charlie and Sawyer were behind Son getting partially kidnapped as part of an elaborate ruse on Sawyer's part to get his hands on all the guns, and Charlie's revenge plot against Locke.
Yes.
She doesn't take it well, which makes sense.
Right.
But not that badly,
But
honestly.
yeah, I mean, she doesn't like flip out. She gives him a hard look and leaves him sit there.
Which is almost worse.
Say, do something, yell at me, scream at me, make me feel like a piece of shit. I am a piece of shit. And she's just like,
That's like the dad thing of going like, I'm not upset, I'm disappointed.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. She's like, I'm gonna walk away and collect myself and figure out what to do with you.
Yeah, exactly. Cut to a flashback.
9 days ago.
Yep. Day 72. We've seen this episode.
Yep.
The A-Team goes to the Pearl. This was one of the first times where we were like, who the fuck are these two?
Yes.
Because we were watching that episode, and in that episode, Nikki and Paolo are like, we'll go along. You always talk about not being included. Let's go. And I'm pretty sure, JB, you were like, why are these two fucking background extras getting lines? Like,
even knowing what we know, it still baffles me that these two characters are written into this show.
right. Yeah.
We're going to talk about this later, but I think it's so good.
Paolo went along to recollect the diamonds, or the bag. I guess we don't know it's diamond yet.
Right. He doesn't want to tempt fate and have somebody else try the toilet. Oh, it's not flushing, and then find.
It's like,
well,
this is why it's not working. Somebody jammed a Russian nesting doll in here. That's weird.
Hate it when that happens.
Yeah. Oh, God. Come back to the graves. Hurley confronts Sawyer about having the argument with Nikki. And then Sawyer confesses to helping investigate because he knows she was trying to hide something.
Yes.
Man, if I were Sawyer, I would get so tired of these people just like always having to prove that I'm a good guy.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's like the constant red flag of, or not red
he
flag.
does some shitty things,
Red
though.
herring.
Yeah, the red herring. Yeah, it's like you're on an island with a monster and an antagonistic group of people. What is the source of your problems? Oftentimes, the survivors think, well, Sawyer's probably in on it somehow, right? And that's, again, not without merit, because he does spend a lot of season 1 and a big chunk of season 2 being pretty antisocial.
Yeah.
His redemption tour only really begins in earnest in mid-season 3. So he's probably only been like, quote, the good guy for a couple days. So, like, you know, it's going to take some time to win the hearts and minds, etc., etc.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
Which he does do a little bit here. Like, he's like, okay, yes, I was still doing a shitty thing, but like...
Yeah, like, here's the gun. It's not even loaded. Like,
and here's what she was hiding. I found it. I dug it up. It's a bag of diamonds.
Right, and you can have it, because, like, I don't care.
Yeah.
He saw an angle, and he was willing to exploit it, but it wasn't anything worth exploiting, which is shitty and not shitty in its own way. But he's like, listen, I wanted to check this out on my own, and it turns out it's nothing. But, like, I didn't have anything to do with their death ahead of time.
Yeah. And I gotta imagine part of it's for him is instinct. Like, he's been doing the con man thing for so long.
Totally.
That's his first impulse. It's like, what's the angle? Flashback.
12 hours ago.
Yep,
so many flashbacks. There are so many cuts in this one.
God.
Nikki and Paolo have a little conversation on the beach. You know, hey, maybe it's good that we didn't find it. The diamonds would have tore us apart. Which I don't believe. I think their love is real.
Sure.
He quit smoking for her.
Yeah, don't make me don't shake my faith in romantic love and tell me that this isn't gonna work out. Paulo gets up to, like, he's like, what does he say? I'm gonna go.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna go make breakfast.
Yeah. And she's like chilling a little bit. She's like, oh, what a nice guy. And then she sees
the
Chekhov's nicotine gum had fallen out of his pocket. Shit. The nicotine gum was in the bag. bag.
Oh.
It's highly unlikely that the nicotine gum just fell out of the bag. He must have found it.
Right.
He must have found the bag.
Well, it's not Dharma brand nicotine gum, so
That's true. So it was not in the supply drop, which would be really funny, actually, if there was nicotine gum in the pallets. That would be really funny.
Yeah. There's still a lot of show left, man.
That's true. That's very true. So Nikki's like, well, okay, my beloved has lied to me. I'm going to fucking kill him. He's been lying to me for question mark number of days.
Yes.
And the punishment is death. Who's got the guns?
Sawyer's got the guns.
Sawyer's got the guns. But he doesn't. He had them. And then he lost them somewhere.
Yeah. And even if I did have the guns, I wouldn't give them to you. You need to go cool off. Also, who the hell are you?
It's so cheap. I like it. I like the bit. It's a good one.
I love it. Yeah, it's so good.
Oh my God.
Go back to the graves. Sawyer finishes digging the hole. He's kind of by himself. Everybody left him, after, it was one of those things like, Sawyer admitted to Samantha's social behavior, and now he's got to be isolated a little bit to, you have to think about what you did.
Yeah. He says thanks for nothing to her corpse. Okay.
Yeah, sheepers. You always say that. You're always like, let's not speak ill of the dead, especially when they've just died. Like, Christ almighty, thanks for nothing? God, it would be really a shame if she were still alive and could hear you say that. That would be really, really mean. Son comes up and confronts Sawyer. This is some bad shit.
Yeah.
Like, bad as in, awesome.
Yeah.
Like, Charlie told me. You gonna tell Jen? No. Because then we'd have to dig another grave.
Dude.
Yeah, she's so cool.
And
she's so cool.
Believe it.
Ice cold.
Oh.
Ice in her veins.
And we've never seen Sun really be like that before. She very much doesn't like the fact that her husband's kind of an enforcer for the mob. She doesn't like that her dad's kind of a, like a racketeering guy. And she's all about kind of being everybody's best friend, mom's sister, just a shoulder to fucking cry on if you need, be support. And she's like, me and my husband will fucking kill you. And I'm like, oh my God. Hell yeah, son.
She did Mob Wife 15 years before this kid.
Exactly. This was not Son confronting Sawyer. This was Mr. Peck's daughter confronting Sawyer.
Yes! Oh, dude, that's such a good way to say that. Oh my God. Fuck yes. Oh,
I loved it.
Amazing.
Because Sawyer, and you can see Sawyer's like, yeah. So they're gonna eulogize a little bit here.
Oh, she slaps him.
Oh yeah, gives him one.
So Son just decks him before she walks away, and it's just she put some stank on it too. And
for him, it's just occupational hazard.
Right. Yeah.
Won't be the last woman that'll ever slap him.
No, maybe not even in this episode.
maybe not even today. Right. But so they're gonna bury him. Hurley gives a bit of a eulogy, right?
Yep.
It appears you killed each other for diamonds. Really good. I want that said when I die.
Yeah.
And they start pitching a couple of shovelfuls of dirt in. Sawyer dumps the diamonds in the grave. He's like, "Fuck, am I gonna do with this?" They don't even know how much it's worth. They know it's worth millions of dollars, but they're like, "We've been here for almost 3 months.
Right. We're gonna die on this island.
We're island people now.
What am I gonna do? Hold on to these fucking things?
Yeah, exactly. Flashback.
8 hours ago,
Nikki confronts Paolo. Well, I found the bag. Where is it? It's right here. You have it. You're a scumbag. That's the bag I found. You've been lying to me. You have the diamonds. Give them up.
Yeah, I found your gum, dipshit.
He's thinking to himself, shit.
I was looking for my gum.
So I found your script too, but I'm not getting any credit for that.
Whilst in this argument, Nikki just opens up a jar and throws a spider at him. Spider toss. It's like pocket sand.
It's pocket spider.
What kind of spider, Adam?
Check out spider. The Medusa spider. Did you know that these things will not kill you? They'll bite you and they'll paralyze you for 8-ish hours. Also, the reason that you normally keep them in a jar, especially if you're a high school science teacher living on a beach, is because the pheromones on this little lady just drive the boys wild.
Horny spiders.
If you are a Medusa / Chekhov spider, there are hot single male spiders in your area, and they want to talk to you.
Oh, fuck, dude. I fucked up my line earlier when I said don't show us a spider in Act 1 unless you're going to use it. Let me dub this in. Don't show us a horny spider in Act 1 if you're not going to use the horny spider in Act 3.
There we go.
That's much better.
The spider, she whips the spider at him, and it lands on his neck. And chomp, bites him. He smashes it. He's got almost Spider-Man-like reflexes, but not quite.
He's about to. Nikki goes on this fucking rant where she's like, you're paralyzed, and now I can do all sorts of evil shit to you.
Yeah, she does like this almost soap opera-esque villain monologue.
Yeah. Which really just boils down to, because like she can't torture him really to get an answer because he's not going to be able to talk for much longer. So she just searches him and finds the diamonds in his junk.
I'm going to violate your Fourth Amendment rights. That's the nasty thing I'm going to do. You ever heard of an unwarranted search? Here we go. Is that the Fourth Amendment? I don't know.
I usually have to pay extra for that.
Yeah, he did have the diamonds down by his unit, though.
Yeah.
And I give her credit for not looking at his junk immediately. She checks the shoe first, which is a dumb place to put it because she hypothetically knows how big of a bag of diamonds it is.
Right.
But, like, sure, okay, yeah, it's in a shoe. All right, if it's not in a shoe, maybe it's under his balls. Yeah. Which one wrong?
Yeah, so he's only got so many words left before he's like fully paralyzed. He says, I'm sorry. She's like, you're only sorry because you got caught. He says,
which is probably true.
I did it because I was afraid of losing you.
Which is also probably true.
Yeah, it feels very genuine because like we established
both
that.
of those things can be true.
Yeah, and while they're having this conversation, dem pheromones. Oh.
Yeah.
Just want to take a second, just before we get to the pheromone spiders.
Yeah.
What a toxic couple they are.
Oh my God.
It's like when he's like, I was so afraid of losing you, right after she's like, I'm gonna fuck you up. She like gets all misty-eyed. Like,
Oh,
yeah.
babe.
Like, you think Shannon and Boone are bad? It's these two.
Oh, yeah.
God. But yeah, some of the boys come looking for the stank, and she gets
Them
bit
thirsty spiders.
and she gets bit on the ankle by one of the boys, which is bad.
Not good. Not
because she's now going to be paralyzed for 8-ish hours, and she's going to be paralyzed for slightly longer than him because she got bit after. But she realizes this is going to happen. She's like, okay, fuck. She's like, I'm gonna hide the diamonds.
Right, and I'm gonna run for help.
So she runs a little bit, buries the diamonds.
She runs up to Sawyer and Hurley playing ping pong. Yada yada. That's where we start the episode. Yeah, and
she says, I'm paralyzed.
Yeah,
which could sound a lot like Paolo lies, or plywood, or whatever else they said.
Power lines.
Power lines, yes.
Power lines. I Lie by Powerline.
Oh, what a good song.
Oh.
Yeah.
We look into each other's hearts.
Dad, do the perfect
we'll
cast.
Never be far apart. And
Baby, love is the reason why. For the first time ever, we'll see each other eye to eye. This episode's gonna get demonetized.
It sounds just like the movie.
People at home are like, is that a real song?
Did they just make that up on the fly?
90% of our listeners are people who have been in this podcast, and they have all seen Goofy Movie. I'll put money on that.
And they also love Eye to Eye.
Put money on it. So then, holy fuck.
Okay.
We come back to the grave.
Okay.
Oh.
They bury him alive.
Her eyes snap open just as the dirt goes on her.
It's such a good moment.
That grossed me out so much.
Yeah, it plays into a fear that we all have. Like,
talk about sleep paralysis. She's like, that's what's happened. She's done. She's fucking done.
Yep.
So Hurley and Sawyer just buried Nikki and Paolo alive.
Yep.
And they put like a lot of dirt on them. There was a big pile of dirt on top.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, it takes more time to dig a hole than fill a hole, but they spent the entire day digging this grave, and they filled it in about 5 minutes.
Well, I feel like they realize they have to start digging these graves deeper if they're going to be in sand. So, you know.
So, yeah.
Ooh, I don't like thinking about that part.
No.
Like they had to learn that lesson.
Yeah.
So in the end, sadly, Nikki and Paolo did end up like Shannon and Boone, buried next to each other on the beach.
Lost. Holy shit.
What a good episode. I think, I don't know. I know that a lot of people didn't like it when it came out.
I remember hating this episode the first time I watched it.
I mean, I think it's funny because it's like, I know people probably didn't like it because by that point they just wanted something that was going to move the plot forward.
Right.
But they had no idea they were in for another 2.5 seasons.
3.5.
Yeah.
3.5 seasons.
And I think maybe this episode gets a lot of hate because people hated Nikki and Paolo.
Right. They had to do course correction.
So let's talk about it. Did we like it? Was it good? That's what we're trying to figure out. The audience at home, I think you probably already have an idea how this conversation's about to go. But Chrissy, kick us off.
So good. Such a good episode. I think I said this before, but I think it's really self-aware.
Yeah.
And I really love this thing of being able to spend time talking about, okay, there are a bunch of other people on the beach with them, and we never know what they're up to. I also like the idea of thinking about this as like, I don't know, there's so many people, there's so much weird stuff going on the island. I think it would be really cool if we had more of these kind of adventure of the week type episodes.
Yep.
Yeah, we've talked about that.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like they have so much material and so many people that you do see in the background just kind of milling around, so they have a lot of room to play.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's really, really great.
Yeah. JP, what do you think?
The same but different. I think that this is an awful episode that I adore for all of the wrong reasons. I think, there's so much course correction and so much like probably audience backlash that they had to deal with. The level of fucking retconning and writing and attention to detail that they had to do to pull this off is insane. And I'm like, imagine if you would have given all of that time and effort to write this, like the same type of like the diamond and the double cross and whatever into characters that we already like or enjoy or have this be part of the Shannon and Boone story or something, like anything. Yeah. Obviously, I can't stand Nikki and Paolo. I was glued to this fucking episode, though.
Yeah.
I could not look away. So, yeah. Adam.
I loved this episode, having previously hated it the first time I watched it. I also think, though, it is an amazing feat of writing.
Yes.
I think it is both good and I love it. You hand this story to a different writing team other than Kitsis and Horowitz, who I think are two of the better writers on staff, this episode goes poorly. I think Kitsis and Horowitz do a really good job writing this story. How to get rid of two characters we never should have introduced in the first place.
Yes.
And I also love when TV shows do episodes that are basically from another genre. Some of my favorite episodes of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia are when they take and they subvert the plot, the established format of the episode and do a different style of episode.
Yeah.
This is a soap opera. This is a primetime soap opera episode.
Yeah.
Because it's about a primetime soap opera actress and her boyfriend. And it's a soap opera story.
Right.
Diamonds and double crosses and all this stuff. And they set aside almost all of the typical serialized Lost stuff.
Yeah.
And I love that. Because, I honestly think that heavily serialized shows benefit from the occasional adventure of the week.
The bus mess around episode is one of the best episodes of Lost I've fucking seen.
Yeah. There's a ratio that the X-Files did where it was like 5 episodes are Monsters of the Week. Then the 6th one is a mythology episode. And then so you get 4 or 5 mythology episodes through the X-Files. I think you get a little bit more mileage out of those mythology episodes if you sort of invert
the ratio.
Do 4 serialized episodes in a row, or do 3, and then once a month, get the last script of the month. That's a mess around episode.
Yeah.
So I think we've referenced this article in the past a little bit. The Hollywood Reporter revisited their episodes and ranked them for the 15-year anniversary of Lost's airing. The writer describes this episode as the gang buries Nikki and Paolo alive.
Yeah. It's oh my god.
And and in this article, Exposé is ranked 12th.
Nice.
Out of 111 episodes.
As it should be.
Holy hell.
It deserves it.
Yeah. So
holy hell.
We thoroughly enjoyed watching this. We have slightly differing viewpoints on its quality.
Yes.
A couple of other comments. So I knew I recognized Nikki and Paolo from something that wasn't Nikki and Paolo.
Okay.
Nikki, I don't know. She's in 2 Purge movies. I looked her up. I saw the Purge movies, but they're not memorable. Yeah, but Paolo was very tan Italian man in, I don't know if he was Italian, in Love Actually.
Oh, okay.
The one that, like, the office worker story.
Sure.
And he was also in a bunch of Westworld.
Yep. He was one of the cowboys in the Westworld, one of the bad dudes, one of the black hats. He was also King Xerxes in 300.
Yeah.
That's one of the first places I saw him.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
That's right.
Yeah.
So it's like,
And that's the thing, like, these two aren't, like, bad actors.
right.
As a matter of fact, I think Rodrigo Santoro is a pretty good actor, you know, for a TV guy. Like, yeah,
Sure.
he's good on Westworld. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's interesting thinking about them maybe being around longer, but then people just are like, no.
Yeah.
No.
Oh my god.
I'm thinking to myself, what if Nikki and Paolo were on the show from the beginning instead of Boone and Shannon? I wonder what that would have been like. They're the bickering romantic couple.
Or we don't kill off Boone and Shannon and we write more
Stuff like this for them.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. So that's it. Did we like it? Was it good? Yes, we liked it. Is it good? Jury's still out, I suppose.
I don't know. And that's part of the charm. You guys want to do some MVPs?
Yeah, we might as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So lost MVP. Who was your favorite? Who was just amazing? Who got the gold star for the day? Chrissy, start us off.
Okay, so I hate to do this, but it's not a person. It is
okay.
It is an action dumping the diamonds out of the bag.
Oh,
Whenever they're
yeah.
referring to the diamonds, everyone always has to dump them out of the bag and take a little peek.
Sure.
I
Yeah.
love that.
I like that.
They looked pretty cheap.
They looked
Plastic.
100% plastic.
Yeah.
There's a line in Inside Man where at the very end, Jodie Foster gives the line of the movie and she just goes, diamonds. And that's all I could think about.
Nice. JP, what do you think? Who's your MVP?
It's gotta be Sun. I was gonna give it to Locke for not my fucking business, but Sun, stone cold gangster. I was already really attracted to her. Now I'm even more attracted to her. So it's gotta be Sun. Adam, MVP.
I think I got to give it to Arst.
Somebody's gotta. You
Like,
know?
again, playing against the established type of the show. Like, it was just nice to have George Costanza in Lost for 45 minutes.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it was just like, I'm used to seeing him being kind of annoying, and like he was annoying, but to good effect here. Like, it made me laugh. Like, it was good stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna give it to Leslie, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, good and goofy.
Yep. The pigs are walking, Jerry.
Rock solid.
Walking.
There's a flip side to this coin. For every MVP, there must be a LVP, the least valuable player. Who is terrible? Who sucks shit? Who do we want to bury alive? Chrissy, start us off.
Okay, so I'm a returning guest. In my first episode, I said that my LVP was Locke, and once again, it's Locke. I just hate the man. I hate him.
Dare you?
Suck it, Locke. Suck it, JP. Oh,
He's
man.
just, he's insufferable, and he has that shit-eating grin. He has this, better than everyone kind of thing going on. Like, I know something you don't. Ugh, hate him.
Wow.
I love it. I love it.
Chrissy, what the hell? Unbelievable.
JP, who's your loss forever?
Kitsis and Horowitz. God damn you for not trying this hard on every episode of Lost.
Fair. That's fair.
Man, when they
There's some
want
work here.
when they want to write their way in or out of something, they do some gymnastics and they don't do it every week, and that pisses me off. Adam.
Whichever one of the producers decided that every place in Sydney is within view of the Sydney Opera House. Every time they're in Sydney, you can see Sydney Harbor and the Sydney Opera House. Sydney's a huge city, and you, like any city that has an international landmark, you can't fucking see it from everywhere.
But how will the Americans know?
You know...
Oh no. Chrissy, if you just turn your webcam, because you're in New York, the Statue of Liberty is right outside your window.
Yeah, it's right outside your window, right?
Yeah, I can see it wherever I stand.
Yeah. You can see that, and you can see like the Brooklyn Bridge, and Central Park. You can see all that stuff from your apartment, I'm assuming, which is on the west side, because that's the only place people live.
Totally. It's the only part that exists.
The Upper West Side, yeah.
Chrissy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for this episode. Thank you just in general for everything.
Thank you so much for remembering that I really wanted to do this one. As soon as you told me you were going to do this podcast, I was like, this is it.
Yes.
This is my jam.
Amazing. Is there anything you want to plug?
No, I don't know. I'm not. Oh, no, actually, yeah, I am working on something. So I'm working on releasing like a video series of apartment concerts. It's called Park Place Civic Association. I'm working on it with a friend of mine, Stephen Chen. So we're going to be having artists come in and record apartment sessions that are like arranged in a different way than they usually would be.
Cool.
Sick. Yeah, that's awesome.
Or just maybe super inspired by La Blaga Tech and like Tiny Desk, stuff like that.
Yeah.
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 I love it.
I'll blast it out soon.
Cool. Even if that happens before this episode drops, we will we'll tell people that they'll understand later.
Wonderful.
All right, Adam, what are we watching next time?
Excellent question. If you're trying to be lost with us, next time we will be talking about season 2, episode 1. Man of Science, Man of Faith.
Oh shit!
Featuring everyone's favorite medical corporation, Dr. Jack Shepard. But that will not be the next episode.
What?
It will be in your pod feed in 2 weeks, as expected. But next week, we've got a very special episode of Lost on Lost. JP and I are going to take some time to unpack the work trip.
The work trip.
For the Lost on Lost faithful. So we've got 3 weeks in a row of Lost on Lost action.
Yeah.
Counting this week. And then next week, we won't really talk about Lost that much. But then the week after, we will. When we will be talking about Man of Science, Man of Faith. 3 weeks.
That's a big one, isn't it? I've heard the name of that episode a whole bunch. Like that's a big episode for Lost.
Again, it's been a long time since I've rewatched it, but because it's the season 2 premiere, I gotta think this is the big introduction of Desmond. So.
Oh shit. Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. Cool.
So yeah, just thinking back now, I'm remembering the cold open and
Ooh, yeah,
we got some good. Yeah, we're that'll be a treat.
Awesome. Well, Chrissy, thank you. Everyone out there listening, thank you. Adam, as always, thank you.
Thank you, JP.
Yeah. But no, seriously, everybody out there, thank you for tuning into this episode of Lost on Lost.
I'm Adam.
I'm JP.
Do you have any idea what's going on in the show?
Nope.
Me neither. Lost on Lost is produced and edited by me and JP.
We wish to acknowledge that we live, work, and produce our show on occupied land.
Burbank, California is located on the traditional tribal lands of the Tongva, Chumash, Kizh, and Fernandino Tataviam peoples.
Milwaukee, Wisconsin is located on the traditional tribal lands of the Peoria, Potawatomi, Miama, and Ho-Chunk peoples.
And Lost was produced in Hawaii on the lands of the Kanaka Maoli.
Visit native-land.ca to learn more about the land you live and work on.
You can engage with us on IG, Facebook, and Twitter at Lost on Lost 1.
You can also email us at wearelostonlost@gmail.com or support us with dollar monies at coffee.com/wearelostonlost.
Thanks to Lostpedia and its community of contributors, Danny Schmitz, random.org, and as always, you the listeners for tuning in.
We're hosted at Podbean. You can hear us there or wherever you get your podcasts, except MySpace. We're not on MySpace.
Yet.